Welcome to the season finale.
I guess we could.
And welcome to my podcast. Today we're going to be talking about... First, I'm going to palpate the trapezoid bone, which is at the base of the second metacarpal in your hand. So, right here. Right there.
Next, I'm going to palpate the metacarpals 1 through 5. So 1 starts at the thumb and then goes 2, 3, 4, 5 towards the pinky. So you have 1 right here, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to palpate the first MCP joint, which is, so you have your first digit right here is your thumb. So the first MCP joint is going to be right here. Right here. So now I'm going to do range of motion for wrist extension. So for this, you're going to have the patient sitting in a chair with their forearm on a table. And usually you'll be doing wrist extension or flexion with it. So their hand will be kind of hanging off of the table. So we're just going to do it the same way. That way it's, equivalent. But you'll have the fulcrum of the goniometer on the triquetrium, and then the stationary arm at the in line with the ulna, and then the movement arm at the 5th metacarpal. So stationary arm here, in line with the ulna, 5th metacarpal, right yonder. So you're at 2. Go ahead and extend for me. Fire. And now you are at 62 plus 2, so 60. So she had 60 degrees of motion for wrist extension, and the typical range of motion is 65 to 85 degrees, so she's a little bit under, but she still has about full range of motion for wrist extension.
So now we're going to do radial deviation range of motion. You would typically do this on the table, but we quite literally can't hold up the phone and show how to do radial deviation at the same time, so we're going to use the wall. To do this, you're going to line the fulcrum up with the capitate. You're going to have the stationary arm lined up with the lateral epicondyle and the movement arm lined up with the middle metacarpal. Okay, you can go ahead and bring your hand that way. All right, and he moved 22 degrees, and your average range of motion is 15 to 25, so he's good.
We're gonna do a muscle movement test for the extensor indicus, which is the muscle for the index finger. So in order to do this, you're gonna have them stick their finger out, and I'm gonna lay my finger on top of her finger and ask her to push up, and then I'm gonna push down and tell her to resist, or don't let me push her down. Push down. And for this, you don't want to do like too much force because it's not inherently strong muscle. So that right there would have been a grade of a 5, and a 3 if she can just stick her finger up and then everywhere in between. So
we're going to be doing a manual muscle test. Don't know why I'm still holding that. For the extensor digitorum longus, which is the muscle that extends your fingers, but it also can extend your wrist too. So to do the manual muscle test for this, I'm going to support his arm, because you would also normally do this on the table. We don't have access to these things right now. And I'm going to get him to lift his wrist and extend his fingers, so go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to push down on the wrist as well as try to bend his fingers at the same time. And he was able to resist the force with resist maximal force, so he will be at a grade of 5 And once again, a greater 3 would have been if he was just able to lift up and move everything. And now I'm going to be showing 2 ways to strengthen and 1 way to stretch your pronator teres and your pronator quadratus. So one way to strengthen would be to get a weight and to hold your hand in supination and then just like rotate it to pronation, hold it for a few seconds, and then rotate it back. And then without a weight, you can just do the same thing but like against gravity, and just maybe like hold it for longer, so that way you feel it more, because the rotation, you don't feel it as much in the rotation. And then 1 way to stretch would be to take your arm and bring your pinky to your sternum, and then you're gonna grab your hand like this, and you're going to bring it down to like flex your wrist and bring your elbow out to help pronate it, and that's how you would stretch it. When you're stretching your pronator quadratus and your pronator teres, you hold the stretch for 30 seconds to get a good stretch in.
So now I'm going to be showing you 2 ways to strengthen the flexor carpi ulnaris and 1 way to stretch it. So the first way is weighted. You're going to put your forearm on a flat surface with your hand hanging off, and you'll take the weight and start, well, with the palm facing up. You'll start at the bottom like this, and then you'll raise the weight like that, and then control it all the way back down. Another way to strengthen the flexor carpi ulnaris without weight is to do their wrist push-ups, but they're also known as fingertip push-ups. So you get in a push-up position with your fingertips up and perform push-ups like that. And then 1 way to stretch the flexor carpi ulnaris would be to put your hand out like this, raise your hand up, take your fingers, put them on top of your other hand, and pull back, and that would give you a good solid stretch. And you can do that repeated 2 or 3 times for as long as you want, and it'll stretch it pretty good.